Oh, that is a friendly face to see.
Hey, Michael, how's it going?
Oh, hey, good. How you guys doing?
Good, good.
Good. And we're live on YouTube. Welcome everyone to another NPM Open RFC call. Today's date is Wednesday, October 20th, 2021. We're going to be following along in the agenda that I posted here in chat. Feel free to add yourselves to the attendees in that HackMD doc. Quick reminder and acknowledgement, these calls and all RFC comms are covered under our code of conduct, and we just ask that you please be respectful of each other when you're speaking. Please raise your hand if somebody else is talking and we'll call on you. And also just wanted to give some time and space for any announcements if folks have it. If not, we'll jump into our very small agenda today. And we also, I guess, have time for any other topics if folks want to bring them up after this. But the first issue that we have here is number 477. This is essentially the follow-up to the multi-app monorepo discussion that Matt, you brought up, I think a little while back. I'm not sure if you just want to speak to your issue and yeah, go ahead.
Sure. Yeah, so I originally opened the issue as a discussion again, and Miles directed me to actually file an issue on the RFC's repo. So this is that. Essentially, I kind of have two questions. There were a number of action items. One of them is unassigned, so I don't know if that means like I should pick it up or if we're like waiting for more sort of feedback. And then the other one is, I think it was Isaac who suggested this sort of like hacky workaround that would get me to where I wanted to be once the NPM packlist stuff landed. I think that's landed in 8.1, at least it's 3.0, it's in the changelog. So I sort of expected it to work and it does not.
Maybe my hacky workaround was too hacky.
So let's start with the first item there then, finding a owner of that second action item, which was just the RFC around writing. I don't think we actually need that as RFC. Like, do we? Like, it's going to be a very small. Like, it's almost better just to like write the implementation and have us focus on the PR, right? Like, it's like, do we need to actually document that prepare scripts are going to run on workspaces or linked steps? I'm kind of looking at Isaac. Do you think?
So just looking at the linked multi-app mono repo, it looks like they're not listed as bundle dependencies. So I wouldn't expect that they would get included in the packed tarball, or maybe I'm not looking at the right thing. But oh, it's in packages. That's the one that has the dependency.
Yeah, it's like app A has a bundled dependency on package C.
App A. I see, and it is listed as a bundle dependency. Okay, so I mean, that could just be a bug with what packlist is doing, because if it's installed and it's there, it should be resolving that that dependency and linking and including it in the tarball. But do you want to talk a little bit about kind of what was the more like the higher level goal here, or what is?
Sure. I mean,
the issue is just kind of like we have to run prepare scripts in linked bundled dependencies.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of back to Darcy's question, or like the second action item from last week's meeting was like in this example, I'm just trying to sort of get the bundle dependency part working into the packed tarball of app A, but essentially in a kind of more real world scenario, app A is something that I want to, like, I guess if I can generate a tarball with all the right sort of dependencies, I would untar it, zip it up and push it to AWS, or untar it and copy it into a Docker file and deploy it somewhere. Like it would just be a nice way to specify sort of local dependencies on things that might have to build. So the part about running prepare scripts is just in a world where, for example, package C is in TypeScript and I want to like compile it before I bundle it and ignore all the source code in the bundled deployed dependency version.
Right. So that is my expectation of how it should be working. That's the design. If there's some reason why it's not, then that might just be a bug we have to fix. But automatically running the prepare script in those bundle dependencies is something that we would probably need an RFC to sort of specify that we're doing.
Okay, so given that we need an owner to actually write it, I'm not sure, Matt, if you have enough context to write something small, like a small RFC. Would you want to pick this up?
I'm happy to start it if people won't sort of guide me through if I miss anything or don't understand what I'm talking about. I'm not like super familiar with NPM internals, but
cool. I mean, I think that would be awesome. Go ahead.
You can pick me in that RFC if you want, and then I can add some stuff to it because I would like to piggyback on this RFC a little bit.
Yeah, you were poking me the other day about this stuff, Mike. Cool, and also nice to see you. Yeah, so if you want to, Matt, take ownership of creating the RFC then, or at least like a first draft, and then yeah, CC Mike. So that's Mike Mimic, his at, and you can also poke us as well, like just at Isaac and myself, and we can try to help like round out what that looks like. Should be pretty straightforward though. It's like essentially you want that script to be that event to fire off when running, yeah, like npm publish essentially, or npm pack, right?
right. I mean, when it's being bundled as a part of another workspace's pack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, and we can asynchronously be working on that even as like you're writing the RFC. Like I think it's pretty straightforward. Here you go, Jordan. Okay, so action there is just we'll give.
Okay. And the RFC you were just talking about is the second item on that checklist?
Yeah. Yeah. And then I guess you have the last one, Jordan.
Yeah, so I definitely want it written. I am happy to be the one to write it, but I have a personal struggle with writing docs. So if I must write it, I will write it. If anyone else wants to help me write it, that would be amazing.
Yeah, I can jump in there and help you with that.
That's wonderful. Thanks. Let's talk offline and find a time.
I find this is a little bit meta, but maybe worth mentioning in the context of this call. A good way to kind of get over that initial, just like breaking the glass for writing an RFC, is just think of it as a ever so slightly more fancy issue. If you just write up in the RFC exactly what you would say in an issue, like this is the way it works now. Here's why it needs to be different. Here's how I think it should be different. We can take that kind of raw clay and shape it into a beautiful copper base or whatever it needs to be.
I'll try and write something up like that to get Michael and I started. That sounds great. I also still have a list of some issues I need to file also, so that doesn't make it that much easier.
Maybe not. But I find if you think of it as writing docs, it's like somehow mentally harder. An issue feels like complaining, and that's super easy to do.
Cool. I think we're at the end then of this, unless there was anything else you wanted to follow up with, Matt. Does this feel good?
Yeah, I know. I think this is good. I guess the other question is, I mean, it's not even really a question. I think I should file an issue on Packlist or npm CLI about how npm pack is working with.
Yeah, that it's not crawling that link depth. Are you sure that the symlink is actually there when you're running npm pack?
So if I run npm install,
it should create the symlink, right?
Yeah, in the rootmost node modules, it creates symlinks for all of the workspaces.
No, I mean if you cd into the thing that has the link depth, so that the app A run npm install and then npm pack. Because what might be happening is you're doing a top level install, and we're hoisting it up to the top. And so that symlink in that folder is actually not present when it runs npm pack.
Yep, that's exactly it. You're right.
Okay, so it is. So the hacky workaround works, but it was not hacky enough. You had to also cd into the folder.
And yeah, an npm install. Okay. I mean, I would be fine if I npm install once, create that package lock, and then npm shrink wrap to turn it into something that's like meant to be deployed or whatever. Would that be enough? Yeah, I'd still need to. I guess what I would expect is what I would expect is to run npm pack like -w and specify a workspace and have it run in the context of that workspace.
And also know that its bundle dependency is actually up a level, so put it in the tarball. A lot of these problems go away if we, instead of hoisting everything up to the top level, we actually created symlinks to their depths in all of the workspace projects. Then you wouldn't have to do that like local non-workspace install, and it would just have a symlink to the top level depth.
I guess that's Jordan's workspace layout issue thing. Right? Yeah.
That is Jordan's white whale for sure. It's a good one, and I agree with it. It's just we kind of just haven't had the time and energy to dig into it, but we do have an increasingly large list of things that will be solved by that. So it's kind of like, it seems like maybe we should just do that, and then npm pack doesn't even really need to change from what it is now. I guess it would need to change to run the prepare scripts, but yeah, it wouldn't need to change in terms of like, because it's here's what I'm thinking. Sorry, let me speak out loud on this. If we have a workspace and its dependency is hoisted up to the top level, right? And it's a link dependency. So within the context of that workspace node, we're saying I depend on a hyperlink to this particular folder. And then NPM goes, well, good news. At the top level, I have a hyperlink to that specific folder. So you're good. We don't need to put another hyperlink in there, right? Then later, hyperlink, another symlink in there. Then later, when you run npm pack, it says, I have a bundle dependency I'm going to be looking for. Is there anything in node modules? And then it says, no, there isn't. So I guess you don't want it in the package, and it moves on. There are a couple of ways we could address that. The first is we symlink dependencies into the workspace node modules. That would make most of this problem evaporate. The other thing I was kind of thinking that was like not a great idea is we could say, well, npm pack list could say, hey, I have a bundle dependency, but I'm actually running in a workspace, and this bundle dependency is found up a level. Let me include the higher level one in the tarball. That's pretty hazardous because it means that npm pack list is like doing tree munging, and we kind of don't want to do that. It should
But
be
the whole tree isn't contained in that one node modules folder, right? Because of the node resolution algorithm.
Exactly. So it would also have to be able to.
But like you're saying that like it's doing tree munging, like the tree is every node modules in the current folder and every parent folder all the way up to the root, and all of those trees combined together.
Right. So npm pack list is a really like nicely simple module. It just walks the file tree, and the sum total of its like understanding of dependencies is, if something is a bundle dependency, I need to include it. Right. That's it. That's as far as it goes.
Can it find it with require.resolve and then delegate all that complexity to Node?
Well, so here's where this gets challenging. It's doing a simple tree walk, and it could like do require.resolve and find that it's actually up above the working folder that it's in, right? But what it's creating is a tarball. So now what it has to do is say, this file, this particular file that's like /node module / whatever has to be in the tarball at /node module / whatever, and all of its dependencies need to be brought up as well. And I am flinching as hard as possible from that complexity at that level. That's not something we should do.
Would it be a good interim solution to have npm install for anything that is a bundled dependency, like, and maybe this is only an issue with workspaces, but in that scenario, symlink those in and then defer the symlinking thing, the bigger symlinking question, to the RFC, because that theoretically would be compatible with it.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Like in other words, put in it's not really a hack, but put in like a special accommodation for bundled dependencies. And it just so happens that this special accommodation is conceptually completely compatible with the RFC that we're hoping to write, which would do much the same thing for a larger list of items, not just bundled dependencies.
Right. So another thing where this could actually get challenging, the thing you're depending on, the thing that you have a symlink dep on, its dependencies might not be local to it either. They might be up a level. So you could end up bundling something which doesn't have all of its steps. Now, if everything gets symlinked everywhere into the workspace folders, a la the workspace layout plan, then that's no longer an issue, right? Because it will be there. And we'll just be like, well, I'm bundling a dependency, so I follow all symlinks, right? And that thing that you're bundling will have its dependencies symlinked rather than being at the higher level, and so on. And it's kind of a baby step towards better isolation. Yeah, so I think that's sort of the end goal here has to just be the more comprehensive workspace layout RFC.
Yeah, I mean, I agree that's the end goal, but sorry, you're kind of thought processing there.
Sorry.
So do you think that the partial approach for bundled dependencies is viable in the meantime, or do you think it would be worse than waiting for the larger one?
I think it's probably worse than just doing it all the way, because
Okay.
it's almost as much work, and it's not much less hacky than the hacky workaround that I provided already.
Okay.
There's still going to be some edge cases that are going to jump up and bite us until we do it all the way.
Michael, I saw you posting a couple times. Do you have anything you want to share other than your support and help in writing these RFCs?
I don't know if it's particularly useful, but to like Isaac's train of thought, just to add words, I think that there are already scenarios. So this does specifically only happen in workspaces, and there are already scenarios when. So Darcy, you and I triaged this, I don't know, whenever that was, a few weeks ago. And there are scenarios where it's slightly different than like packing stuff and build and bundled depths, but the idea of like in workspaces, a dependency having a dependency on a dependency inside of the workspace. And there's a scenario where when you run npm install or npm, I can't remember what we were doing, but it does do the symlinking of everything all together sort of by accident. It seems like from this conversation that wasn't like by design, it just sort of does it. So it seems like there's already some tiny baby steps forwards. It wasn't npm, I can't remember what it was. I think it was like npm install at the.
No, it was
like an app workspace,
another workspace into a workspace, I think was what you were trying to do.
Yeah. And so there seems like there are already baby steps in place that like sort of allow this, the notion of this, the workspace layout that that Jordan's talking about. So anyway, it's just words to sort of add to the context, I think. But yes, fully supporting all of these ideas.
Did anybody else have anything they want to share here? Or so this was the only item we had on the agenda for today.
Wait, sorry, just one more question.
Sure.
Should I file a bug? And if so, where and what should it say? Not sure I followed the full.
So the bug would be that it's not running prepare scripts today.
No, I guess, sorry, you answered my question. No, there is no bug. It needs to run npm. Well, maybe there is a bug. Maybe there isn't. I don't know. Okay, never mind.
I think what we established is there's no bug, but there are 2 RFCs that we need.
Got it.
So,
and one is the workspace thing, and one is the prepare scripts thing.
Bingo.
Got it. Okay, great. I'm all caught up then. Thanks.
No worries. Yeah, just features. So, which hopefully means that we can land this without like waiting for like a major or something.
There was a bug in the hacky workaround that I gave you, but that's not technically supported codes. So that being that you have to actually run npm install in the app folder itself, which you really shouldn't have to do. Like the point of a workspace, the point of using workspaces is that you don't have to go to a bunch of different folders and run npm install explicitly in all of them. But in this case, you do in order to have that symlink local.
I'm not sure what exactly the workaround looked like, but I'm pretty sure if you just run npm exec and then npm install -w foo, it's going to do the same thing, right? As probably what you were provided, Isaac. Is that like what you're suggesting? Because I know that we removed like the workspace config from anything that's run with exec or like run. So that's like an easy way to essentially be executing or npm pack even, you could be running through npm exec. Yeah. Yeah, exactly what like Michael just shared. Yeah.
Yes. We should just start shipping a nom binary, an executable called NOM, because I do that typo so much.
Nom nom nom. Yeah, I'm not sure if that's the same as the Hacky implementation you shared, Isaac. But
That's a little cuter. I suggest you just CDing into the folder and running npm install. And then
I think it's really cute if you use npm exec to do this. So that's another workaround for you right now, Matt, is just like npm exec and then npm install and then -w, right?
Yeah, cool. I think that gives me a bunch of hacky stuff to try for sure.
I don't think it's hack. It's like that is well supported. Execute something inside of my workspace. That's what that is supposed to do. Okay. Did anybody have any other topics they wanted to bring up or use this time at all? Nope.
Michael has his hand raised.
Mike.
Yeah,
Go
sorry, I
ahead.
don't want to talk over everyone that didn't speak up. So I just wanted to, so we briefly touched on it, the notion of npm installing a dependency into a workspace. So if you type npm -w, whatever your workspace is, and then the name of the dep, the hope is that it would just do what you would like, which is mostly true. But if you try and npm install a workspace app into another workspace, it doesn't do what you think it would do. It actually just blows up. And so Darcy and I had to come up with a hack to make this work, and it's a really great one. Very cute, much like the npm exec solution, but I just wanted to sort of say it into the ethos, so it's in people's context, that it would be lovely to support the idea of installing one workspace package into another workspace package in the event that you have something similar to Matt's case where I want one in another, and like what's the nomenclature for doing that, and how do I make sure that npm does it appropriately and updates the log file and symlinks and all these things accordingly, because I think it's really common now that we have this workspace mono repo forbidden term thing. It would be nice if they could like play nice with each other inside the context of a workspace. Dependencies, I mean.
Yeah, this was interesting to navigate through with you the other day. And I'm not sure if anybody's tried that yet in terms of essentially installing one workspace into another and then trying to see what the layout, like what actually happens to the dependencies. Yeah, I'm pretty sure cross-linking workspaces is going to be a common use case for folks. So like the easier we make that, the better, I'm sure. Or the more like deterministic it is, like the better. So yeah, I'm not sure if anybody's run into this yet. It's like it seemed like we had to do the order of operations just right to get it the layout proper, which was, I know, frustrating for Mike and myself even as I was testing it. So seemed like it was blowing up in, I forget which case it was. Like if we were, I don't know how we were doing it. If you were actually maybe CD'd into the directory, that's like what was happening, or if you had a package lock already somehow, like it was tripping over itself.
Yeah, it was I think it was in the Arborist code base, I think, but it was, oh, maybe I could be wrong, but the file was calcdebflag.js. I just I took a screenshot of it, but the context is missing in our chat. But it's basically attempting to do a node.target.dev equals node.dev, but the node.target isn't a thing. It's null or undefined or something like this. So it can't do the .dev call on top of it.
Yep, I ran into that in another issue. There should be some guards around that. Because there are cases where you have a link and it is missing. And in those cases, currently link.target is null. Node.target is still referencing the node itself. So there are some ways that we could handle that. Either we have to add checking and know that link.target can be null, Or we can make link.target refer back to itself like nodes do if its target is missing, but that might lead to some other kind of weird behavior. So as much as I'm kind of loath to like sprinkle a bunch of guards throughout the code base for something like that, it's probably the lower risk approach.
I'll let you figure that out. I just found the problem.
Yeah, and I've seen lots of folks actually referencing that kind of error though in issues recently. So
yeah, I think it's a fairly recent regression.
Yeah.
Yeah, the workaround that we use is like with the npm pack or pkg command, and it does like the outcome of that does exactly what like it structures the workspace and the repository with the lock file, and it updates all the things the way I would expect it to. So it's sort of the line item that I replaced what would be whatever command we come up with, or however we make that work in the future. I just sort of will one for one replace it. So I think it should be pretty simple. And to say that like if the hack is as simple as it is, I imagine that it'll be I don't want to say nice. I feel like that jinxes it. I was gonna say easy to fix, but I don't know, we'll see. I imagine it will be yeah, that's very clearly defined what the thing is that we're trying to accomplish.
Yeah, this was essentially npm add. I remember you saying like it's like if we had npm add because you want to essentially install or add a new depth to a workspace. Yeah, the way we got around that was using pkg, which is very hacky, I would say. Not very hacky, but it's nice that we have that command that you just manipulate the package JSON, and we added the workspace to that. Cool. Any other topics folks want to bring up? If not, I can give you all 25 minutes back of time, and hopefully chat with you next week. Cheers.
Bye.
Thank you.